For our third and final time tonight, greetings and salutations, Dota fans. Welcome back to the D2L Season 4, brought to you by HyperX. We've got a great match to end the night on, to end the week on, as this will be our last play day for the week. And then we'll start talking about looking ahead to next week. But for now, TongFu taking on Team DK. And DK, having played their second match in the D2L so far, got stunned earlier tonight, for lack of a better way to put it. TongFu has kind of been up and down in their own right, and we'll cover that as well. But nonetheless, a very high-caliber match from two teams that many favored to advance, at least to the playoffs, and DK, without a doubt, the favorite to advance once they get in their stride, straight to Las Vegas via finishing first place in the overall Eastern Divisional standings. Taking a look at the way the teams match up, we'll start out with TongFu. As we can see, they're currently sitting near the top of our standings. They're led by Zoe in the carry position, XTT in the off lane with Mu in mid. ZSMJ plays the support and jungle position with Song Shang holding down the hard support. And we've seen some good moments and some bad moments out of TongFu so far here in the D2L. They're certainly going to need a lot more of the former instead of the latter. They're going to get past DK. Speaking of DK, bouncing them up now. They've already been in action once here on the evening. They are currently sitting at 1-2, believe it or not. And right now, again, actually that's incorrect. They're sitting at 1-1, as they were 1-0 coming into their match, and obviously get that corrected in the future. But as it stands, sitting at 1-1, and really, I don't think anyone would have been surprised if they had run the table. Certainly not going to be the case, as they already have taken a loss again earlier tonight. They're led by Burning from the carry position, Ice in the off lane with Mushi in mid, Lanham on the support jungle position, and Ji playing on the hard support. So when it comes to Team DK, we know exactly what to expect from them. A lot of talent, a lot of leadership, but sometimes stability and the ability to close out a game can be hit and miss, and that's exactly that TongFu is going to be looking to capitalize on. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers, live here on the floor of our downtown studio in San Francisco. Been a long night, been a good night, been a hell of a fun night as we've debuted patch 6.79. Looking forward to putting an exclamation point on it with TongFu versus DK. We'll be jumping right into the draft coming up. Stick with us. This is the HyperX D2L. We'll be right back. And jumping right into the action, Game 1, the draft already well underway. As we can see, Nightstalker will be making another appearance, this time drafted by Team DK. Visage on the bad side of the Nerf Hammer coming out. Had a lot of his survivability taken away. We'll talk about that coming up soon. And Razor, who we've seen in action a few times tonight, a hero who's really seen his star rise, especially here in the D2L. Been seeing a lot of Razor picks and bans, and his popularity all across the world has been soaring. Bad Rider actually makes it into the pool, as DK didn't want to ban him. Instead, would rather ban that Lich or that Elder Titan. And he'll be joined by a Venomancer and a Clockwork. And to break down all the insight and analysis, joining me as always, Ben Merlini Wu. And I'll tell you what, Ben, we didn't see too much good out of the Nightstalker in the first time we saw him. But the hero in this new patch certainly has a lot of potential. I don't think anyone can argue that.
Yeah, definitely with the vision changes. And I think that DK will just draft a better strategy around the Nightstalker too. And they don't have a passive Keeper Light. They have aggressive support and Visage. They might not even go with a third one. We could just say another roamer, maybe a jungler. I'm not sure what to expect out of DK, but Razor and Weaver certainly heroes that can fight and fight a lot early. Bat Rider on the other side, we haven't seen him yet in 6.79. We haven't seen too much of him in general, just because he is usually banned out. It looks like DK will opt to ban Lich instead. That's probably the only new ban that we've seen in 6.79. And yeah, Bat Rider, slight vision nerf, lasso range nerf, base damage nerf. It's going to be pretty tough for him to make a big impact. Vision is such a huge thing in Dota. I think a lot of people underestimate how important it is, and Nightstalker with his darkness compounded with Bat Rider's nerf to daytime vision, it's going to be really tough for him.
Well, Bat Rider, the question with him was, and one of the reasons he is picked and banned so often, I mean, a 100% pick ban rate at the International is a pretty damn good indicator of just how strong the hero happens to be. And a big part of that is just how versatile he is. He can't set up shop in the off lane and rely on Firefly to get him out of trouble. If things get bad, he can just duck into the jungle. He's a very efficient jungler, or at least was, prior to 6.79, but I've already seen some play testing in which Bad Rider was known to be able to get up a set of Tranks and a Blink Dagger in 8 minutes pre-patch. Still, he's in that 9-minute range even after the nerf, so it's not as if he's been completely nerfed out, at least in terms of what really makes him so flexible and makes him such an easy hero to fit into a variety of lineups. The base damage nerf, of course, does hurt his one-on-one potential a little bit more reliant on sticky napalm than he ever would be for both last hitting and for harass. But still, seeing him come out here, hard to tell where he'll wind up. The Clockwork and the Venomancer scream aggression, though. You've got two heroes that can get on you quick, fast, and in a hurry in the Bat and the Clock. And Venomancer, we've been seeing him experimented with a lot as of late, and we're going to see another hero that has a number of tweaks with Phantom Assassin and her ability to just sneaky damage is what I would call it. Now that Stifling Dagger actually has the same crit percentage and crit damage as coup de grace.
I think that Phantom Assassin is probably it seems like the worst pick right now. Actually, it's very bad versus Razor. Two of her spells actually get owned by the Unstable Current. Is very bad versus Weaver because Weaver can't kite, but that's assuming that they're on equal farm. If Phantom Assassin just gets a safe lane, then she can do a lot of damage, but I think that TongFu are going to have a tough road for them if they're in a try-on-try situation. Yeah, Stifling Dagger does get the crit, but I mean, it's not like her early game. It's not like her late game was that weak, anyways, and it like really buffs her middle game. But I don't think she's that weak middle game either if she goes for a phase drum build. So I think there's going to be a lot of aggression from both teams. DK, they don't really have a lineup that's just going to let Phantom Assassin free form, or if they do, it's definitely not going to work in their favor. And TongFu definitely has the lineup to protect the Phantom Assassin early. I would have liked to see a different carry though, something that doesn't get shut down so hard by Razor.
Well, taking a look at DK, now that you mention it, I mean, when you look at the way Phantom Assassin is going to match up against this DK squad, she's going to have her work cut out for her. Visage, even after having a little bit of a nerf, losing one armor and losing some of his magic resist, he's still a fairly tanky support, tends to get a lot of kills and build himself up fairly quickly just because of the way Soul Assumption works. Then you have Night Stalker, Razor, and Weaver. Night Stalker at night, very, very quick mover. Razor, of course, very, very quick mover with his passive, and Weaver with Shikuchi and Time-Lapse. All three of those heroes are going to be tough for her to bring down, or more to the point, to stick on long enough to bring down with that crit from the RNG, to say nothing of the fact that Razor is going to be able to sap her damage. Night Stalker will be able to slow her down considerably with his silence, being able to keep her from blinking onto secondary targets or pursuing via the blink strike. And Weaver, again, if he does get critted, it gets critted a couple of times in a row, he can simply time-lapse, and it seems like just most heroes do have some kind of an answer for it, especially if Razor gets up an early mech. He'll start to feel fairly tanky because of the armor there. And yeah, I mean, the CM now makes a pretty obvious target. It's always funny to see a Phantom Assassin just explode a Crystal Maiden with one well-placed crit. But TongFu with an aggressive lineup, they're really going to be put to the gun, though. They have to break this game down very quickly and never let DK find that stride.
Yeah, DK has such an aggressive lineup. These supports are so good at roaming around and finding kills early. And I mean, I could see this just going either way. Any team can snowball with this sort of lineup. I think the big playmakers for each team are going to be Bat and Veno, I guess, or Bat and Clockwork in the mid game, Venomancer and Earthshaker early for TongFu. On DK, you really just have to watch Night Stalker at nighttime and just watch the supports roam around the map. I expect a lot of movement, a lot of kills. This should be a very exciting 6.79 game.
Oh yeah, looking forward to it so much, and that's been really the pleasure of the evening, is getting to experience all the changes that have come out in 6.79 so far. And I do want to go ahead and point out that I did contribute to an article that is on Team Liquid that just collected community reactions about 6.79, so you should head over to Team Liquid and check that out. And lots of insights and analysis, mine a little bit more general than others, but for the most part, just really, I love what this patch represents for Dota in its development as a game, and just how much courage it really does take in terms of pushing game development and being willing to change a winning formula. That's really what this is. I mean, when you look at this patch, they had a winning formula. You saw the success of the International and the growth of Dota all across the world. And instead of just sitting on that and looking to just add additional frills and extras to it, Ice Frog's willing to get under the hood and really begin to tweak it to make it into something even better than it is. And to me, that's the most exciting part of it all, the fact that there is so much of a sense of discovery that's coming with this patch and a lot of changes that are just going to completely remake the way we think of this game. DK is going to go ahead and invade the Radiant side jungle. Looks like, though, TongFu, no interest in a fight.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you that I'm glad that Ice Rock just didn't wasn't just satisfied with the success of TI3, and he's always trying to develop, push the game even further, make it into something that's just very exciting, very spectator friendly, and player friendly too. I think that
Yep.
everyone enjoys new change, new things going around the map, and I mean with the first day, Night Stalker being picked twice already, and PA, and it's just it's a sight to behold.
And TongFu looks like ZSMJ, who had a phenomenal night last night, by the way. ZSMJ playing very well from that support position over the last day or two. We'll end up finding that Haste Rune and taking away from DK as the lanes take shape. Let's see who's handling who. We'll have Zoe setting up shop with our PA. He's actually running into the off lane and will be joined by the ZSMJ-led Venomancer. We'll have Earthshaker, played by Song Sheng, who's been an up-and-down player so far in the D2L, but more often than not has showed us some pretty good play. The Bad Rider, going to be played by XTT, will be a lane bat, actually doing his thing with the Clockwork in mid, handled by Moo. He'll be going toe-to-toe with another melee hero. That'll be the Night Stalker, played by Mushi. Here comes Lanham on our Crystal Maiden, ready to help him out. And, oh, wow, this could be first blood. This way, he has Cogs if he wants to drop it. He's going to have to do it quick, and gets him down just at the last second.
So close.
So close. Lanham with a very well-timed rotation there throughout the Nova, but just not enough. One more auto attack would have done it.
Well, bring back the dual lanes in the middle. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, man. I miss the old dual lane middle. I mean, for a while there, it's almost reminiscent of when mid pulling became a thing, and there was just always someone pulling into mid, and you always had these 2-on-1 situations favoring the Radiant side.
I'm just in between the T1 and T2 tower, just putting so much pressure. But on the flip side, Burning is not having easy time on top. He's actually forced to creep pull the small camp right now.
And ZSMJ doing what he can with Poison Sting. Hang on, we're going to see Moo having to drop the cogs again, and Lanham's blocked in. Song Sheng, just level 1, can only throw out some auto attacks. Moo doesn't even, oh, he does have a rocket flare, but it's not going to be enough. Lanham will make it back. Mushi taking a lot of damage as well. Mushi with just one tango, does have his bottle up, of course, but still. A lot of damage being taken in that mid lane. We'll finish running through the lineups now as Razor's going to be handled by Ice, matching up in this off lane position. Burning, no surprise to see him farming the Weaver. He didn't have too good of a Weaver game last time, so he's going to look to avenge that and put together a much better game of Dota. While MMY will be playing on the Visage, setting up shop right beside the Razor down in this bottom lane.
Burning is out of man on top. He's actually in a lot of trouble if they choose to go on him. I think Zoe should come up and kill him right now.
Burning down to half health. He's
Zoe should go. Oh, he actually has Magic Stick charges right now. Yeah, I think he could have just cast it probably from the fog and went on him. But very smart Magic Stick pickup. And you can already see with this PA's build that she is going for a very early game-centric build. This won't be the Battle Fury farm for 50-minute sort of PA that we're seeing. So already picked up boots. And we saw this with his Alchemist play the other day too. He went for early treads, did not go for Midas, did not go for Battle Fury, any of the games that he played. And I think he knows that the pressure is on.
XDT, we can see, really struggling against this duo lane, while San Sheng just kind of doing his thing in the jungle. Only has one level under his belt as of right now. XTT trying to hang in. He at least is getting levels. He's at level 3.5. But Razor certainly doing quite well. Sitting atop the CS board here in mid. Moo and Mushi getting very, very close to each other, while Zoe and ZSMJ continue to be fairly dominant at top. Burning is finding some farm, just not a lot of it. Only 9 CS for him.
How did London get bottle? Oh, she actually took Mushi's bottle. I was looking at Crystal minutes gold. I was like, dang, she has 450 gold and she has bottle. I was looking at her CS, but it was actually shared. So this is one of the huge benefits of having a dual lane in mid. Your support can just check the rune while your farmer just farms, and that's a really big deal when your solo lane Clockwork can't get any runes.
Cogs go down. There's another Nova thrown out for the moment. Mushi sitting atop the CS, certainly benefiting a lot from this. He's already level 4.5 as well, so not even losing out on experience. He's actually ahead of Clockwork at this point. Burning will be caught with another Gale. There's a sentry down. They're going to try to chase him down. One last Poison Sting, not enough. Does force him to use the wand charges, though, so perhaps the next time they're able to get close to him under his own tower, they might be able to make that work. Sentry down for another 3.5 minutes, give or take. Lanham again going to find a rune. This time it won't be going in the bottle, but denying it from anyone else.
Night Stalker, it is nighttime. Time to do stuff. Mushi, go find some kills.
Down there with the rest of his
Look
team.
at Sanshou. My goodness, he is so scared. He even has a TP scroll on him. They can find him though with Plasma Field. He has to be really scared. He should probably. Oh, he's TPing out. Very, very smart move. Ice Ice is probably going to Plasma Field right now, and he would have scouted him out. I think very, very smart decision there. Good foresight though. Mid lane, Bonham gets caught out.
Bonham caught inside the cog. Song Sheng is there, not going to have to do anything as Moo manages to draw first blood. XTT came out. Song Sheng, after that TP, able to kind of stand around and soak some experience. He's actually made his way to level 3.5 now. Burning continuing to play under a little bit of duress up here at top, but still, again, doing an okay job, sitting at 18 CS despite being up against a lane that does have kill potential. Here come the TPs in. They're going to try to challenge this. Zoe's going to be there. Stifling Dagger on the Mushi, then the Blink Strike. Mushi, though, moving very quickly under cover of night. There's going to be a Gale that catches Ice Ice Ice. The Fissure was off the mark. And now, though, the double slow of the Sticky Napalm plus Stifling Dagger, actually, they're just going to turn and kill XTT. Sanshing has no mana, and they may get Zoe if they're not really careful. There's the Grave Chill. Can they chase him down? No. Venomancer.
Fissure right there by Earthshaker. If he had hit the Fissure, they would have killed the Razor much sooner. Razor had his static link down. Looks like Moo's actually in a lot of trouble now.
Yep, showing up and underestimating just how dangerous this trio of heroes happens to be.
That was just a very weird concentrated defense by TongFu. Like if you saw Batrider, he like right before he TP, maybe like 5 seconds, he started doing this double stack and he went to this camp too. And they just killed it. But if you're going to be doing neutral stacks, you shouldn't defend. And if you're going to defend, you shouldn't do neutral stacks. So he has to be on page with his team. He didn't have Firefly up for that fight. He wasn't level 6 yet, and his team should know that. He has to communicate and be like, hey guys, I can't fight. I'm doing this neutral camp. Or they just have to be on the same page. They really can't suffer from this lack of coordination at the start. It would have been a lot better if he had Firefly up.
Oh, ZSMJ had to see that coming.
Yeah.
Ice 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 sucked all of his damage, and with no tower, I mean, there's really only so many ways he can retreat, but Razor's going to be able to run him down nonetheless, so ends up being cut off as he tried to make his way back down the lane, make it 2-1. DK
They want to kill Zoe on top. There's Night Stalker smoked around behind top tower and Lan M2. 3-on-1 situation. Burning is level 6.
Mushi there, and we'll get off the Void. Here comes the TPN. Zoe not going to be able to make it away as the Frostbite is there. There goes the Gale. And Burning's actually quite low, but we'll be able to time-lapse ZSMJ moving into a lost fight. Save your buddy syndrome in a very big way. And Moo actually spots the courier, says, no, it's fine. You can go on by. But Burning getting an urn charge, so we will be in decent shape. Ice 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 continuing to farm up here. It looks like he's actually going to be, he's added a bracer to his inventory, going to go ahead and finish his magic wand before he does anything else. Mushi with an urn of his own, still sitting on just tier 1 boots, so has a haste rune if they decide to take a big chance and pull a big dive.
And yeah, things are pretty scary for TongFu right now. Like Phantom Assassin had free farm on top versus a Weaver, but he hasn't done anything with it. He wasn't able to get a kill on bottom. He just died on top. And I like PA, don't get me wrong, and I like phase drums, but still her effectiveness is severely hampered in this sort of game. And they can just tower diver. Nighttime's about to end though. Mushi's not level 6 yet. He does not have his ultimate. He does have his urn though already, and haste rune, he's going to be a lot of trouble for them later. I see a ping out on Moo. They do want to kill him. There are 3 heroes there, including 2 supports. It's Crystal Maiden and Visage. Visage is actually very close to level 6 too, so something that we're seeing a lot is like supports just being way more farmed and way higher level than before. Even though it seemed like they would be, looks like Moo is going to have a really nice cog here.
And will not make it.
Wow. Nope, he just, I don't know how he actually died there, but I expected supports to be like a lot more under level because of the neutral change. And the small camp changes though under some pressure on top, but like I have no idea how these supports are hitting like level 6 like 8 or 9 minutes, and I think very typical before was like 11 or 12 minutes. And I mean, I guess DK has been getting some kills, and but even on the side of TongFu, Earthshaker level 5, Venomancer level 5 too. So all around the board, supports getting some love.
I feel like the supports are spending a lot more time near the lane. You're not seeing as much just, off in the random spot of the jungle, stacking an easy camp and sharing easy camp experience that you used to. You're seeing them move into lane for a variety of reasons, seeing them pass through to try and just keep a hero safe, seeing more gank attempts. And, everyone kind of anticipated this patch was going to make teams feel more aggressive. You and I have seen both sides of that so far. I mean, we've seen some really long periods of downtime as teams farm their way up. But I think that's really going to be the outlier instead of the norm, for a better way to put it. And I think it really does play into what you're talking about. We are seeing supports become much more relevant, much more quickly, and carries and mids be a little bit under-leveled compared to where they might be in pre-patch. So certainly a lot of fun to watch how this patch plays out. We are going to have another smoke now, as TongFu has XTT, ZSMJ, and Son Sheng under cover of smoke, looking to make something happen. There's the Firefly. Blink showed off, and Mushi grabbed.
Blink, jeez.
That's what I was talking about. A Bat Rider can get up a very quick Blink Dagger when he wants to still yet, even after the nerfs.
Yeah, and that's like almost always a guaranteed kill. The initial Blink Dagger on Bat Rider. The team like expects it on bottom lane. Zoe
was static linked. Gonna eat a Stifling Dagger in the back end. Move gonna hit the hook. Threw it from under his own tower. Here comes Eye of the Storm. Plasma Field doing a little bit of damage, but he's eating a lot of damage. That's a DD. He has in the slow from Stifling Dagger. One more auto attack. Make it 2, and they will get him. Big time kill there. In the meantime, in mid, we can see DK trying to hold the line and perhaps looking to push the tower off of that as Zoe and Moo both actually, Zoe is healed up a bit. Moo, in the meantime, bit out of position. They know he TP'd there. Visage has popped out his familiars now. Fresh level 6, and XTT, though, in position to slow things down a bit.
Yeah, very good hook shots by Moo. 2-1-1, even after almost giving up that first blood. He was so close to, but he's bounced back quite nicely after that, even after the dual lane and mid all the time.
And Ice continuing to be a nuisance. We are going to see another smoke coming out from DK, and they're going to have a chance to catch Zoe. In fact, this chance is pretty high if they can get there. Oh, wow, he actually turned a Stifling Dagger. That's going to get him killed. That one Stifling Dagger is going to end up being what gets him killed. If he had just kept running, don't know if they would have caught him. But no, he blinks the move.
Wow.
Able to get away. They fell asleep at the wheel. Now they're going to end up giving one up. Now we're going to end up having Mushi lassoed back. TongFu turning this around on DK with emphasis. And that really was just botched. There's no other way to put it. That should have been an easy kill. Then they should have been able to engage onto the clockwork as soon as he landed. Instead, just enough time wasted that the response was much more than they could cope with. And Moo's going to go ahead and throw out a hook. He's going to catch Lanham. Ice is there, however. Lanham likely to die nonetheless. Visage Familiars there to help get the kill. So DK does end up getting something accomplished, but in the end, another big win going the way of TongFu. We got 12 kills in a 12-minute game split right down the middle, 6-6.
And now the underlevel Night Stalker is actually posing to be a pretty big problem. And this is something that has to do with the 4 to 8 minute change, just because Night Stalkers, they see it's nighttime, they're like, well, I gotta fight right now. And then they run around at like level 4 and 5, and they end up not getting level 6 and level 7 for a very, very long time. Had he had a Crippling Fear there and just silenced the P8, they would have just killed her. But he doesn't actually have any points in it yet. He's forced to split points in Void. You almost always max Void with at least 1 point in Hunter Night, and then Darkness when you feel like it. But yeah, it's just a problem for Night Stalkers and generally mid heroes too. Just CTY in the last game on Queen of Pain just being underleveled too. It's pretty rough for mid players nowadays.
Second night has come and Mushi's ready to get active. He's smoked up just as the night did dawn. And with that reduced vision, very scary time for TongFu. DK taking over the jungle, and it looks like TongFu has got this sniffed out. They are all kind of huddling together into that bottom tier 2 and over into the safe side of the Radiant jungle. Lanham going to be the one who sticks his nose out first and foremost. And Zoe pulling back out of mid. They still have yet to have that smoke pop. Still decent amount up. There it goes. Finally goes away. And Burning kind of serving as a bit of bait, drawing them out. Here come the familiars. Here comes Lanham. Can they catch someone? There's a Nova on the ZSMJ, trying to bait the hook from Moo. And the Visage Familiars do get the stun. They're going to chase him down. The Gale got Mushi, though. Off goes the ulti, Poison Nova. Decent damage, and there's a Fissure to just sort of buy some time. So they do end up getting a kill. But on one of the lower priority targets, Burning is down to about half health, but will be earned back up. Still no mechanism complete as of yet. Razor's actually rushing a straight-out BKB, so he's going to be able to deal with any of most of the magic damage coming out. Looks like they're going to smoke here. TongFu looking to go on the aggressive at night. Burning still has his nose out in front. Zoe, Moo, and XTT look to give the old end around along the tree line just to the north.
It's going to be a Blink Bat Initiate, and then if they block him off with Fissure, someone's almost certainly dead.
Here we go. They got Burning. Good one to get. They got to kill him before time lapse, and they do manage to get him. Moo came in to finish it off. MMY now in trouble. Static Link is there, though, sucking that damage away. MMY still alive. Big Echo Slam from Song Sheng. Just not enough to clean things up. Buyback comes out. Amu, he's going to die again. Bobback came in, died almost immediately. And ZSMJ right back up, right back down. Mushi continues to pursue Alzo. There's the silence. Can they catch him? Lawn him. Turns around. He had a frostbite, just unable to get into range before Zoe could crest the hill. And
wow. Really nice buyback by burning there.
Yep.
Like it. I mean, it's not like you can't really do anything about a bad initiate, especially when they're smoked up like that behind their T2. Somebody's gonna die, and I think that they thought that okay, we'll take out Burning and Weaver's their carry, blah blah blah, and we should be able to win the fight from there. But they didn't anticipate that he was gonna buy back time lapse into the cogs and just absolutely destroy them. I think the Clockwork hookshot was actually a little bit overkill, and if they didn't do that, then like Mu wouldn't have been in a compromising position, and they could have just like reset the fight with no lasso and no buyback on a Weaver, which is I guess like fairly even considering they're in a defensive position at their T2. But with hookshot already used and Mu out of position, actually when he hookshotted in, it's just it was a lost fight from there.
Gold beginning to get quite out of control. We're just 15 minutes into this game where we're coming up on 7,500 gold in favor of DK, right in that 500 gold per minute lead advantage generated for every minute played so far. And TongFu with the lineup, I mean, it's a lineup that is very tough to crack. You've got two great long-range initiators in the Bat and the Clockwork, as well as a great counter-initiator in the Venomancer who can land one Gale and just bring someone's chain of initiation to a complete halt. Not to mention Poison Nova.
Here's the smoke. They want to kill Burning. He's going to Sakuchi away and then hide under his T1 tower. And now with it's like nighttime. How are they going to actually find Weaver? And they're like coming in from behind too. This is very, very dangerous for TongFu. The game could get blown wide open after this. Gold lead about 7,500 in favor of DK right now.
There's a hook. They're going to grab Lanham. The Gale's there. Actually got Mushi through that. They didn't know Mushi would be coming in from behind. Moo's there though. There's a lasso going to grab Mushi out. TongFu needs this fight. Nice Earthshaker Fissure to slow things down, and look at the damage output now. DK melting down. They end up losing 3 for 2 at least so far, but Ice showing off the BKB. Soaked a decent amount of damage, has a bonus of 28. XTT going to try to get away and will be able to do so. Lone surviving hero for TongFu, and that was about as good an opportunity as they were going to have. DK came in a little helter-skelter, but in the end, very nice play coming out of San Sheng. Nonetheless, it wasn't enough. He hit a great fissure that caught 3, but DK just able to turn it around when Ice arrived.
Burning with the really nice DD pickup there. If he didn't have the DD, he wouldn't have been able to kill Phantom Assassin before she TP'd, and Razor with a very timely BKB too. TongFu, I mean, they're getting hook shots off and they're getting lassos off, but they're just really paying for it too. They hookshot a CM, yeah, okay, it's nice killing a CM, but if it's going to put you in a compromising position, you don't really want to do that. Same with the hookshot on bottom or rather the lasso and hookshot bottom on Weaver, and they have to just be more careful. Like their whole team was right around here, is right next to their T1 tower, and it's just they're trying to pick kills, and I understand that they're trying to counter some early aggression and they want to make things happen with the Blink Dagger, but the biggest thing is they need farm up on PA. They need a BKB or whatever item she's going to go before they can start fighting, because the carries on DK are just getting a lot more out of it. Ultimate Orb plus 1,300 gold and Tread's already out on Weaver. The Razor already has BKB point booster. Night Stalker not really a carry at this point, just there to be annoying and scout out opportunities for them. So like if this keeps continuing, the gold difference is going to be a little bit too much for TongFu to recover from.
11-15. DK very much in control of this match, and like you said, the gold difference already very much on the cusp of that event horizon where it just becomes almost impossible against a team with a composition like DK's to really have a chance to come back outside of just relying on mistakes, and never a fun moment to feel like your entire fate in the game is out of your hands. I like the point you made about Mu and his hook shots. We've seen a couple, but I mean, it's nice to get kills. It's nice to be active as a Clockwork. But, you know, until you get something like a Scepter up that lets you just hook shot freely and know it's always going to be off CD when you need it, you really do have to kind of pick and choose your hook shots. Otherwise, you are going to end up needing it at a time where you've wasted it on a hero that was relatively low value. And we've already seen that a couple of times, I feel. And I really like the point you made about him wasting it in that bottom lane engagement. The fact it was overkill. That Weaver was dead regardless.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I can understand him not wanting to get time lapse off, but if you hook in, you need like blade mail, you need a force staff. Like they just need like a couple more items before they can start fighting effectively. I think they jumped the gun a little bit too early. It's nice getting a kill when you have lasso, and Batrider has this blink as well as Force Out. Well, I meant Blink Dagger instead of Lasso, but as soon as Bat Rider has a Blink, yeah, sure, you got to kill. And after that, you don't. You have the PA on your team. You should have decent late game, and you need items on her. PA is not that carry that can farm without any items. You need like at least phase drums minimum. And looks like she's actually going for a Sage, possibly, into a... I have no idea what. You don't go Heaven's Halberd because she already has evasion. I guess you can go S and Y, but still, it's going to be pretty tough to chase people down. It gives you some HP and survivability, but I don't know if that's going to boost them into the threshold of being actually able to survive these fights.
Coming up on 20 minutes in, second night, not too far away from us, or third night, yeah, second night. But Burning, going to go ahead and move into the Roche pit. Burning is in much better shape this time as Weaver. We saw him earlier tonight on the Weaver, never really find his stride in terms of farm. Taking a look at the net worth, we can see Razor sitting near the top with Weaver right beneath him, and Burning's made some excellent progress towards his early Lincolns. Getting it up between 20-22 minutes, which is very much within the pale now, could be game-changing. And with this medallion, they're bringing this Roche down very quickly. There's not going to be any contesting of it. They mech right afterwards, and Weaver ends up grabbing that Aegis. So DK going to have a lot of offensive potential right now if they want to use it. The question is, do they just want to go ahead and use that as a safety belt to farm, or is it time to go fight and look to clear the map of towers?
I think they look to clear the map of towers and just limit PA. If they limit PA, what is TongFu going to do late game besides just die without any sort of damage output? And they're getting very close to that point right now. The game is kind of running away from them. I actually kind of think it's cool that they're not running Mushi as like a 2 position. He's more like a 3, even though he's in the mid role, which is pretty interesting. He doesn't really have any items. He just has Treads, Bracer, and Urn, just like minor items so that he can survive and help his team out a little bit. But he's like always on the aggressive. He's like kind of just looking for opportunities right now, just always trying to be up in the front, be annoying, and not die unnecessarily. It's perfectly okay if he dies. And some Night Stalkers, they like try to transition into like an Armlet, Scepter, BKB, Basher sort of build later, but there are better heroes for that. And I think that DK is utilizing Night Stalker in a pretty good role too.
Yeah, you make a great point. He has picked up a point booster, so one would imagine his Scepter will be forthcoming. But, you know, it's not as if he's just transitioned to a pure support, but they're just treating him as a hero who has a very specific skill set that peaks at a very specific time that can be predicted. So when it comes to his involvement, he's just contributing what he can when he can and not trying to overextend himself or do something the hero's not that well made to do, as you had pointed out. Speaking of Scepter, Ice is going to have his up in just about 700 gold. So DK continuing to just build out their heroes and get up the items they need. And really, I mean, TongFu has so many ways to initiate and counter-initiate that it's hard to say that a game is getting close to over. You really can't say that against this kind of a lineup. But DK, so long as they stay free of mistakes, they should have no problem hanging on and closing this one out.
They have too many items in their supports too. MMY has Medallion as well as a mech. We see London on the CM who's got initiated on 1, 3, and 9, and she still has 4 staff. So things are pretty dangerous for TongFu right now. On the flip side, Earthshaker, Brown Boots, Magic Wand, Sentry Ward. We see Venomancer, Treads, Magic Wand, Sentry Ward, TP Scroll. So they're just like super poor.
DK rattling their saber down this top lane. Looks like the top tier 2 is the target. Not a lot of HP on that tower. Bad Rider waiting to try to initiate. Lincoln's on Burning. Allows him to get...
Oh, BKB on Phantom Assassin. They're going to look for something to happen here. I think they should probably defend this. Nope. They're just going to let it fall. Okay.
Burning had the Lincoln's popped. He had his Lincoln's popped, so there was a chance for, if the Bad wanted to blink and try to grab him. Not the case, though, as they just end up giving away a tower.
Yep, I think it's smart for them to just park Weaver up in front. They can pop his Lincolns with the Siphoning Dagger, but, I mean, he's still not a good lasso target. As we saw, he can buy it back in time-lapse. He can just use the Aegis. He has Lincolns in case they don't pop hits, so it's just a very difficult target. But, I mean, he's pretty high priority, too, though, is a problem. He only has, like, 1,200 HP right now. He doesn't... I mean, he does, like, a fair amount of damage if they leave him alone in the fight, and he is just highly mobile. So it's, like, TongFu is kind of in a pretty difficult position. Do they go on the Weaver and just let Night Stalker and Razor just trounce them and burn the Aegis, or do they just ignore him and let Weaver just roll over their team? It's a lose-lose situation for them.
Both teams engage in a bit of a standoff here. Remains night for a little bit longer anyway. About another 60 seconds. And DK likely to try to make something happen. The Age is going to be reclaimed very soon as well. And yep, here we go. They're going to jump in, lassoing out. Ice, getting them to high ground. There's Venomancer ulti. They're going to try to fight it out. There's an Echo Slam, does a little bit of damage. Ice still up and going. He's leashed to Song Sheng. Mushi going to be pursuing out Zoe. Zoe blinks to the high ground and looking to rejoin. Burning's going to be able to track him down, though. He's going to go ahead and blink one more time to the rest of his team. Flame Break misses on Burning and on Mushi. There's a defensive fissure. Mushi circumvents it very easily, though. The SMJ is on the low ground. He has a Gale, will spend it. And the Visage Familiar is doing a good stun. Burning, eating some damage, will be able to chase down XTT. Will get the kill, might end up dying. No, time lapse. Ready to go as DK once again strings this fight out and is able to walk away big winners. 5 still standing for them, only 2 for TongFu. And the last remaining outer tier tower going to be crumbling as well.
Looks like Earthshaker was a little bit too slow with his Echo Slam. Once Ice got his BKB up and he used it right after the lasso, the fight was over from there. If they can't burst down Ice after using lasso, like lasso's supposed to be used to make the fight 4-on-5, and if you can't do that and he doesn't even have to run away, he can just statically run into you. Like, it's just very, very bad situation. And but I mean, oh, you see the Lincoln's used on him.
Yep, we're going to have the hook in. Here we go. Ice caught out. They do get the tier 3 in the meantime. He will go ahead and use his BKB fresh off of cooldown. Clockwork ends up dead via the Soul Assumption. And buybacks in. They're going to come back in. XTT going to end up blown up. There's a fissure to delay things a bit.
Wow. We saw the nerf right in action there. He tried to lasso him, but it's 100 range instead of 175. Yep. Oh, Burning caught.
There's going to be a Gale onto him as well. Zoe pops the BKB, engages on the MMY. Burning man-moding against the entire team. Now Zoe has to turn and run. Mushi's on his tail, has a void, waits for the BKB to expire. That'll be the death of Zoe. That's your GG.
Well, I think it was a good attempt to pick Phantom Thousand. This is not the game, though. They were always, like, on the defensive. Like, after they got the lasso, after they got the hook shot, right after that, they just have to turn tail and run due to the BKB and just all the mass damage from CM, from Visage, etc., and Night Stalker just running people down. So I think PA is, like, a decent pick, but they had to execute so perfectly well or just get her super stacked, and even then, it's a difficult road for them. I think TongFu needs to work on their draft. I do encourage experimenting with new heroes, but Phantom Assassin just not the best pick here.
Yeah, this is kind of one of the challenging things for these teams. Whenever you look at the drop of a brand new patch like this, the possibilities feel absolutely endless. Everyone wants to be the first to corner a strategy, to practice a strategy, to find something buried in there that they know they can run well and do well. But you really can't substitute practice and sprints for practice in big tournaments like this, so you have to be willing to experiment. But sometimes that's going to backfire a little bit, and I think we saw that in a big way for TongFu as they end up doubled up by DK 22-11. A command performance coming out of the Weaver, handled by Burning that time around, and just really a night and day kind of a look at what that hero can do and how you can shut him down. Again, we saw Burning struggle a lot in his first appearance on the hero this evening, just because he never really got where he needed to be. Very late Lincolns, very late items coming out. But you get him ahead, you keep him ahead, and you put him with a lineup that is a great supporting cast, and Razor, Night Stalker, and Visage in particular. And the hero is just as strong as he's ever been pre or post match. 11-22, the final kill score, 26 minutes, 13 seconds, the final game time. Game 1's in the books. I'm your host there in AC Chambers, joined by Ben Merlini Wu. Could be the last game of the evening coming up. TongFu certainly hoping the opposite is true. They want to push for a Game 3 and deal DK their second loss of the night. DK just had their winning streak snapped earlier tonight. They want vengeance, and they want to improve their record here in the D2L, as they're just a couple of series in and certainly don't want to fall below 500 this early on. Stick with us, guys. Game 2 on the way here at the HyperX D2L next.